London is not only a destination, the journey is also a really big and very interesting part of it. So today we're talking tips on how you can get best to and get around the city while not missing out on any of her magnificent beauty. In this video, we'll be covering several travel means, from buses to boats to biking and of course the tube and much more. So you'll be able to keep calm and carry on all over London. Hey y'all, it's Scott, the Basic American Dad Abroad. And this video is just a quick overview, otherwise it could be hours long. Plus we'll be taking a deeper dive on some of these individual modes in our other videos of this London 101 series playlist. So be sure to check that out for a lot of additional London tips. And I've got some resources for you in the description below here, which I'll mention as we go along if you want to dig deeper. Now we're not focusing on taxis or Ubers in this particular video, which you can get in any city, and you probably already know how they work. They are available and plentiful here if you would like to do that. The black cabs are iconic staples of London after all, except I want to remind you to ensure that it's completely legit before you step in, and that's a deeper subject too. But we love to use the other modes that I'll be covering in this video. They have many benefits, and I'm sure you'll love using them too. Also, unless you're going to be heading off into the countryside, you're best off not renting a car. Like many major international cities, the rules of the road can be very unfamiliar and potentially dangerous. Finding a spot to park near your destinations can also be very daunting. And it's so easy and economical to get around in the many modes of public transportation, as you'll see here. So let's get into some of those options and what each one has to offer. Of course, the best way to see the most of London's stunning architecture and unique charm up close is walking. Everything's relatively nearby and generally safe, so don't be put off by this notion if you're like many Americans who would use their car to relocate just a few blocks. But be sure to have very comfortable and worn-in shoes. Many streets are cobblestone or otherwise rough, so definitely go with comfort over style. Ladies, you can leave the heels at home. This is also the best way to work off those sweet treats that will tempt you all across the city. And if you're keeping near the tourist areas, you'll always be relatively nearby a bus stop or tube station if you get tired. Next, while there are many options for boat rides, the Thames Clipper is a super easy and scenic hop-on, hop-off system that gets you up and down the Thames at a relaxed pace with plenty scenery. You can easily get tickets at any station, and they do have an app if you're comfortable with that. Depending on how you plan to use it, some ticket options can save a few bucks as well. One-way or return tickets, all-day tickets, and more. I've got a link to their website in the description below, so check that out for more info and current prices, as well as station locations and their proximity to the sites that you want to visit. Now, our favorite way to get around London, weather permitting, is by bike. And there are a few options, but TfL, or so-called Boris bikes, is the most plentiful, with 12,000 bikes at 800 stations all over the city. They also have a helpful app which shows not only the locations of these stations, but also how many bikes and empty spots are available. The system and process for using these bikes is also a bit too lengthy for this general video, so perhaps we'll cover that in more detail in another if there's any demand in the comments here. Again, just be sure to have backup plans because the weather there can be quite unpredictable. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and find it helpful, please consider hitting the like button. It lets me know that you do and helps others find it as well. So thanks a bunch for doing that. And before we get into the tube and trains and buses, let's check in with Christina and see what important phrases she has for us today.
Thanks, Dad, and hello everyone. In each of our London videos, I would like to teach you some local words or phrases that you may hear or use during your stay in England. This time, on the subject of transportation, when you go to ride the tube, you'll repeatedly hear over the PA to mind the gap. What they're referring to is the gap between the platform and the train. So it's a friendly reminder to step over the gap so you don't get hurt. Because if you understand, and even speak if you like, a few of the local words such as this, and words or phrases that I teach you in our other videos, the effort along with a smile will really be appreciated over there. I hope this helps you have a wonderful trip. Cheerio, and back to you, Dad.
Many thanks, Christina. Of course, London is world famous for, among many other things, its world-class subway system known as the Tube. The Tube makes it so easy to get anywhere in the city, and the system is fairly intuitive, but some advanced research will ensure you don't hit any snags. This is a really involved subject that requires its own detailed video. So instead of reinventing the wheel, as she has done a much better job than I possibly could anyway, I'm attaching a link in the description below to a brilliant video on everything you need to know about the tube by Jess from Love in London. She's a pro with many years of experience, but chances are you, like us, are not. So I can confirm from a tourist perspective that you will hopefully love the adventure and convenience of the tube system as much as we have. Now, the retired policeman in me would be remiss if I didn't at least remind you about pickpockets and other crimes of opportunity that you should always be on guard against here or anywhere. And also in the description below are links to some tools that you can use to make yourself a hard target to them. But please don't let anyone else's bad experiences keep you from having so many wonderful ones in London or anywhere. And the tube is a really unique experience of its own, while rapidly carrying you to countless others. All right, moving along, but on a related subject of trains. Getting to and from London and elsewhere is yet another much deeper subject for another video of its own. But just to give you some food for thought, for us Americans especially that don't have them plentiful back home, trains offer a really unique experience that's fun and exciting and adventurous and easy and comfortable. So I'd invite you to dig deeper on that if it appeals to you. We've gone from Paris to and from London via the Eurostar through the Channel and thoroughly enjoyed the beautiful countryside. And I've got that covered in detail in our Eurostar video, which is in our London 101 playlist that will pop up at the end of this video. But we've also used other trains to go just outside of London. And it's really the relaxed way to get there if that fits into your plans. And finally, the iconic London double-decker buses. They're as easy to tap in and out as the tube, which again Jess covers in her detailed video on the tube. And you probably know how buses generally work, so I won't belabor this part. I just want to give you a heads up that aside from walking, this may be the slowest transportation option, but it's still a blast, and I encourage you to do it as we really enjoyed it too. Just not if you're in a hurry or going very far. But the perspective you'll have of the city, especially if you can get the front row of that upper level, is a real treat that you can't get any other way. So be sure to do that at least once. All right, that's the basics for now. But be sure to check our London 101 series by clicking that playlist link that'll be popping up in just a few seconds. I really hope that this helps you and your family have a wonderful time in London as we have. And thank you for letting me help you with that. I would love to hear what all you've got planned for your upcoming trip, or perhaps what you've learned on previous trips. Or if you have any important tips that I didn't cover, or anything to add to my brief overviews here. Please help us and others by telling us all in a comment below. Now, this video is purposely not exhaustive, and many other subjects are covered in the other videos of this playlist. So be sure to check out those other videos going into much more detail to help you prep. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in London real soon.